now that you're going through your first deficit in a few years, what had stopped you? Because obviously a lot of people listening, I feel like fat loss tends to be like one of the main priorities. And I'm a big, like I'll say this in every consultation call and I'll remind my clients of it all the time. Just because you want to get stronger doesn't mean you don't want to change the way you look. Right? So it's like you might have no interest in changing the way you look. Couldn't be me though. I want bigger delts, bigger biceps, bigger ass, bigger hams. I want lats that will rival the biggest guy in the gym. Like I want my biceps to be bigger than your boyfriend's. That's like pretty much the general gist. Like I want all of that. And I'm going to get that by aiming to get stronger or perform better or get an extra rep every single week.
FYI, your girlfriends aren't, safe when Jess is in the room.
Woof.
You shouldn't be concerned about other males. It's Jess.
Tam, clip that. Now I'm blushing. Stop it. I held it together for so long. Now I'm red. But it's like understanding that you can want to change the way you look, but the way you get there
definitely
is performance, because with performance, it brings the sleeping, the hydration, the food, the training program. All of that comes together for performance. And the way you look is just a reflection of the conglomerate of things that make that up. So why now? So you at home, if you're like, I train to be stronger, but I am getting stronger, but I'm still in my fat loss phase, and you're making a little bit of progress, but you know that like you just kind of end up looking the same. Like every year summer comes around and you kind of just like, I'm happier than what I was, but I'm still not where I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't look too different to last summer, or, those like progress, but still dissatisfaction. Now, obviously a prolonged period outside of a deficit is terrifying to a lot of people. But what kept you together in the 2 to 3 years of not being in a deficit? So what carried you through that? Did you see your body changing still? Like
all the fucking time.
Okay, let's go.
So after high school, it was like trying to get that smallest version.
Yeah. For context, how old are you?
26. Fuck,
Awesome.
I really had to think about that.
I was like, are you gatekeeping your age or do you not know it?
I don't know it. The other day, we were at the car dealership with my parents and I told the lady I was 28. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to be 28 soon. I'm like, why am I giving myself extra years?
I've been turning 30 for like 3 years, and now that I am 30, I'm like, I'm basically 35 because that's how old that's the average of Ben and Jason's age. So in my head, that's where I'm at. So it's fine.
I'll bring the average down. It's okay.
Correct. Thank you. Actually, Tam's turning 30 next month. Everyone. Tam turns 30 in May. I forget which day. Don't ask me which day, but it's in May.
Birthday month.
Anyway, let's go back to your story because I segued heavily.
It was trying to get into the smallest version, then realizing that was that which I did a mini prep for bodybuilding, but I was not in the right headspace, nor was it in a good environment because I was peak COVID as well, coming in and out of lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Stepped out of that, made the decision to be like, oh, I think I'm doing this for validation.
Ooh, big realization.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then that flipped everything that I was training for on its head, and had to go through a period of, okay, slow the fuck down. What does training actually mean to you if it isn't for others?
Mm-hmm. If you couldn't post your physique update or your lifts for like my strength girlies, if you couldn't post your lifts or rig shots on Instagram, would you be happy? Would you still do it?
I would now.
Now? Yes.
Then you would not see me ever.
Yeah.
I was and you could see it in my aura. Like
Your aura.
I tell people all the time that the person you meet today, me, was so different 5 years ago. We would not have gotten along.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten along with me back then. Like, I just want to hug that person. So tracking was no longer on the tables, on the cards. It was intuitive eating. It was now connecting back to what feels good for my body.
Yep.
Then it was a phase of, fuck, now I feel good and I've got a better understanding of what my body needs, how I can feel, still be strong, still training all throughout, by the way. Now, how can I progress and now be strong, perform the best that I can, show up better? And then there's this guilt because I was intuitively eating for so long and body positivity. And now it's like, oh, but I want to progress a physique goal and I feel a bit guilty in juggling that.
Let's talk about that. Let's unpack that because I have been so guilty of that too. I do not think, and like, I don't know if it's controversial or not, but I don't think that we should rely on our intuition and the way we feel when we are trying to when we have a very specific goal.
Yeah.
Like if you're wanting to achieve things that are not easy, so getting leaner than you have, by relying on the way you feel and what you've always been doing, you're going to look the same way that you always have in terms of body fat level. And you have to do the things and cross the T's and dot the I's and understand where your food should be. Sure, there are ways of like stepping into this, going from no knowledge to learning. Like my favorite is like the hand method. So a palmful of protein, a fistful of carbs, a thumbful like of fat, and 2 fistfuls of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there are ways to learn portion control and whatnot. But when you've been through that and you've gone through that and you want to lock in, controlling the variables that you can.
Yeah.
A thing. And I think it's, as Jason would always say, but I'm in Jason's chair, so I'm allowed to say it. It's the dials. It's like turning the dials up and down. So like right now, the way I feel is a little bit less important and this goal is a little bit more important. So intuitively, my body is telling me, because I'm in a deficit, bitch, you're hungry.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Your brain is like,
what time?
Eat the food. I am hungry. We want homeostasis. We do not want a deficit of energy. We want more energy.
Yeah.
And that comes in food.
Yes.
And then you get your cravings and then all of the things happen. And if you're relying on your intuition to tell you that, girl, your body doesn't want you to get leaner. It wants you to stay where you're at.
Exactly. And I was where I'm at for such a long time.
And I think the healing in that is being able to understand that you can step away from tracking, but you keep your knowledge of food because it is not all or nothing. It is stepping away from tracking for you to remember that food is more than numbers.
Exactly.
And there are no such things as good food and bad foods.
No.
We turn up the dials when we need to. And knowing you're not going to completely blow out, go off the handles, never make progress in your physique, never do all of those things just because you're not tracking.
That's right.
So the knowledge of tracking stays with you even when you're not doing it. You look at a plate of food and you're like, probably need some protein on there.
I can't undo that anymore.
No, nor should everyone.
Exactly.
I am so proud now that my mum will look at a food and be like, look at a meal and be like, there's not enough protein in that. Parker, if he ignores like the protein portion of his plate, he will have a smoothie afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure there's protein in it. Like it just, you have to.
It's a non-negotiable.
Like for longevity and everything, not just getting fucking yoked, but yeah. So I keep like interrupting, but it's always good points here. But when did you start tracking again? And what were your initial goals when you restarted tracking?
Probably about a year ago from what I can remember. And it was to get real strong.
Yep.
That's when I also picked up coaching with Ben.
Perfect. Shout out Benny Scott. We've both been trained by Ben.
And that meant understanding, okay, what are our variables? What are we working with? What needs to be changed so that the output of strength goals is where we want it to be and how we can support it the best we can. Because whatever got me from that point no longer worked. Yeah. Now the next goal is the next step higher or further down the track. It's, okay, different methods now, got to dial in for me to achieve that. Same thing here. Now it's no longer strength. It's like, okay, we're in deficit. It's a physique goal. We need to support this in the same way, in the same method, using those metrics and pillars. But again, your dials, it's just skewed a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we follow programs, we track our weights every week and whatnot. I always like to have a couple of lifts in particular that give me the most satisfaction with progression. So you just said 160 kilo glute drive that you got. Whilst you're in this deficit, what other movements are exciting you for performance? Lunges.
Reverse lunges. Yeah.
Ooh, where are you at with those?
I left them off at, it was either 30 or 32 and a halves.
Per hand?
Per hand.
For the people following along at home.
Hand.
Little 4'11" Mimi with 60 or 65 kilos.
Yes.
In her hands, lunging.
I feel like I should fact check that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it was in that range. That was really cool to see progress.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's being in the new program. I'm seeing how my body adjusts. Being open, flexible, curious, and not shutting anything out completely. So, yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. For myself, so I am also stepping into a deficit into the photo shoot. I have reintroduced squat, bench, and deadlift after a prolonged period of time away from them. So I'm like 8 weeks into barbell squatting and bench pressing, but it's been like feet up bench and pause squats, no deadlifts, just because I was trying to manage like if I would go back into a flare up and whatnot. But like, we are good. We are all good.
Welcome back, baby.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so good to be here. The pull to squat, bench, and deadlift, it's just like it's a part of my soul. Like I can't not. I tell myself, like, I'm like, it's fine. You don't need to do them, and I don't need to do them, and I go so long without them.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very passionate RDLer and bent over rower. Like they're my faves.
What did you leave off when you bent over rows?
I hit 80 kilos in that block.
80 kilos.
80 kilos for 6.
Yeah.
I got a little bit upright in them towards the end, but I was like, I'm not finishing this block without trying it.
Yeah.
So I got 80 kilo bent over rows. My heaviest RDLs are 130 for 6.
Fuck yeah.
And then I finished on weighted pull-ups as well.
Yeah.
Dumbbell inclines, I have now touched the 30s. I can only get them for 4. I was like, I can get the 27s for 8 to 10. I'm going to try the 30s. And I got it for 4. And I was like, boo.
How impressive though. But what a big jump is that too.
Oh, it's fucked. It's so fucked. But that's okay. I'll add a little bit of a tempo to the 27s or something like that. But I think that, in a deficit, you still look at the data. You still look at what you've done in the past, what you can do.
Yeah.
Don't let the fact that you're in a deficit skew the number that you're going to pick up.
Exactly.
You fuck around and find out. You know that your body's been able to do it.
The numbers don't lie.
No.
They don't.
And I think that that's kind of the takeaway for the whole of the thing in terms of the program, the tracking your food, the tracking your progress, whether it's measurements or scale weight or photos, whatever. Like, the numbers don't lie. No. It's all an equation. It's not magic. It's math. I think Ben posted that yesterday. Yeah. It's not magic. It's math.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Fuel for performance. Go through periods of not just trying to lose fat.
It's a period, guys. It doesn't need to be your life. It's not a life sentence, please.
No. And just because you finish a deficit doesn't mean you gain all that weight back. That's a whole other episode in itself. That's a whole other episode in itself. But I think we can call it there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just keep yapping on forever.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So, guys, now that I got to do like Jason's job, he does the. Okay, guys. So now that we're wrapping up the episode, if you haven't already, fucking subscribe. So on YouTube, if you don't like listening to full episodes, well, what's your problem? But we post snippets of the podcast and go into more detail on there. Shots fired. We have training videos. So it's not just us talking shit the whole time. There's so much of that. But it's really good to see, I guess, like when you get a group of coaches together, what training intensity is needed between all of us to actually progress. What does good spotting look like? What are the cues that we're thinking of? Like, all of these things are coming out in the training videos. It's not just watching us train. And of course, the podcasts are on there as well. So get on YouTube. Tam's doing a fucking incredible job. Subscribe to us on there. Like all the videos. And then on Spotify, click the little bell, click the follow button, and then it brings up the little bell and it lets you know when we drop an episode. So you don't just have to wait. And that obviously helps for our outreach. And obviously we want more of that because you get to learn things from us. Now, if you made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much. This is the first one that the guys haven't been on since these have been the names of the podcast. So thank you for being here. Mim, thanks for talking shit with me.
Love it. Do it more often.
Hell yeah. And who knows when we'll be back, but we'll catch you guys next time.